I'm Elisa, the Scrappy Wife behind ScrappyWife.com, and today I have an art journaling process video for you. I am continuing to work through a few art journal pages at a time, adding a layer each week. I have done backgrounds, and then I added some stenciling, and now I am going to add a focal point to each page. So I have gathered some different supplies. This is some of my favorite paper. Jane Davenport scrap paper has some beautiful images that I am considering using. I have the Dina Wakley Collage Collective, also full of some gorgeous pieces that I could add in. I pulled out some ephemera pieces, a card. These are Maggie Holmes letters. They're all just really large letter pieces. And so I thought some of those might be good. So we will see. I'm going to start digging through. I'm going to add a focal point. These pages still won't be quite done because once you add a focal point, it's not just putting it on top. You're going to like incorporate it. So I will have at least one more week of these art journaling pages, wrapping them up. All right, I will put you on fast forward. All the supplies are linked below. Let's go. I'll start by just flipping through these books. The plan is to do kind of a collage feel for these. I'm going to cut out some different images that I think will go nicely as the focal point on these pages and then incorporate them in. So I'm just going to pick out some and I'll rip it out and put it on that page. I'm trying to do all 5 layouts at once, which is a little bit tricky, just getting your mind to flip back and forth between these layouts, but it's been a good exercise for me to only be focusing on one part and not focusing necessarily on finishing that particular layout. I love this Jane Davenport scrap paper. If you don't have this yet, I think you should try to find it. I will see if I can link it below. It was at Michael's and then it was on clearance at Michael's, and it's been kind of in and out of the store. So if you see it, pick it up because it is awesome. I'm on my second pad of it, as you can see. So it's pretty great. These are some cricket flowers that I cut out a while ago, and I'm excited that they match perfectly with the colors on that layout. And these were the pages that I wasn't really sure. That girl is super cute and she's kind of in the same pink tones as this page. So I think I'll use her. And then I love these Maggie Holmes big letters. I don't even remember what collection they're from. Maybe from Sunny Days, but I'm not sure. I'll see if I can find them below. And they're just these really big cutouts. And I was looking through them trying to figure out if I wanted to spell a word, but then some of the letters I wanted weren't the right colors. And so the letters I found that were the right colors were we. So we're going to go with that and see what happens. I had a lot of people suggest using that as like a graffiti wall. So I thought we would be a really good starting point for a phrase or something. So that one's actually going to be relatively simple, and we're going to add some words and things to it the next time around. And then I found that I for the girl. So I thought that was a good combination. I on one side and then we on the other. We'll see what comes of it. Now back to the original page. I have all my papers kind of cut out, and I'm going to trim out this person. And I don't know if it's a guy or a girl. I kind of think it's a girl just because that's what I had in my head, but it could, you know, kind of go either way. And I'm going to trim this rough edge, and this ends up being interesting. So I decide I'm just going to trim off here. Well, then that's a super flat, awkward shaped head, but apparently I'm going to go for it. This is the one page. You guys are going to have to leave me some tips because I worked really hard on this page, and I don't know what happened. This one is kind of going off the rails. I feel like I kind of just want to paint over the whole thing. You'll see. I like the direction it's going. I think I just don't end up going far enough. So I have this ephemera piece that says "Be Here Now" that I thought I might bring in because there's those green flowers in the background, but instead I opt for some green paint. And I'm going to use the green paint to add in some hair. That's acrylic paint from Handmade Modern. And I'm going to give this girl some crazy hair. But I think what's still throwing me off as far as the hair is that the neckline is so white. It's like there's not shading. So maybe when I go back, there's something else I could do right there. I don't know. You'll have to let me know. So I'm adding some different layers of the hair. I'm going with 3 different colors of green because there was those green flowers at the top. So I decided I'm going to bring those in. I do end up adding some shading up there. I'm going to bring in some of that darker green up to those flowers just so they don't look so flat, and then I will add some dark green to the hearts to give them just a little bit of dimension and bring them into the page as well. So it's coming along, and then I pull out my last one, and then I get all kinds of wild and crazy because she just goes from a girl with green hair to a little bit of a Medusa feel because you have the hair that's gonna start going every which way, and I kind of love it. I'm not gonna lie, the hair going all over kind of did this page for me. Like, that's the part I like the best. So I'm just not sure what to do underneath her head, how I should fill in that space, but we'll figure that out next time around. I think the hair is a good start. I think that incorporated that piece onto the page nicely. Instead of just sticking it on, it's incorporated pretty nicely. Now this girl, I am just gonna stick on because she just fits so perfectly. I love that the background are these blues and greens, and she is a bright red and pink and super vibrant. I try gluing her on with Elmer's glue. This is kind of a canvasy paper. I end up having to go back and glue again and add adhesive, and then when this is drying, I put a book on top so that it'll be nice and flat. But look how nicely she's like leaning down and checking out those plants. I think that's gonna end up being super cute. So I actually don't add a lot more to that page. Okay, after my last art journaling videos, a lot of you really liked this page. You said it was your favorite, and there were lots of ideas about what this page could be. For me, I went with kind of a night sky, and that those triangles were stars in the sky. So I'm going to add in the phrase shine bright, and these are the Tim Holtz foam alphas. I'll link them below. I have used them forever. They are awesome. But apparently last time I used them, you can see they're a little jumbled. The T was like off on the edge and got closed. So you'll see when I add shine bright that the T ends up being just a little funky, and that's okay. No big deal. That's kind of part of art journaling. So I'll stamp down the shine right here, and then I'm going to add the bright, and then those flowers will kind of be where shine bright rests. And I love those flowers. I cut them out with my Cricut. Cricut has its own line of metallic paper that I had never heard of until I became a Cricut affiliate, and you guys, it is so cool. I've never seen metallic paper like that. It's pretty thick, so these are like super sturdy die cuts. And I liked the idea of the florals just kind of being the resting place for these. And then I put a couple more up at the top corner because I thought that they maybe could be incorporated into something else that might end up going up there. So we'll see how that ends up. Now that I'm looking at it and it's not the moment I'm filming it, I don't know why there are flowers in this night sky, but that's part of what the next phase of my art journaling project here will be, and that's to incorporate this in a way that makes it make sense. Sometimes when you art journal, you just plop things you like, but the fun part is making them go together, tying them together in some way. And so I think it'll be fun to see how that kind of develops. So I have those other florals. They're not sticking again. So I put the big page, or I put a big book on top of this, so it should dry nicely. Just gonna add some glue up here, and then I'll call this page pretty much done for now. If you have ideas for any of these pages, make sure you leave them in the comments below. You guys are some of the most creative people ever. The ideas I've had on my last videos have been fantastic. So yeah, let me know below. I pull out a piece of paper because I'm afraid that those are gonna get messed up, and they do in a second. They kind of fall, and you can see I put something on top to make sure they stick. Now I'm trimming out this kind of lanky girl right here, one of the Jane Davenport girls. I love Jane Davenport style. I certainly cannot draw like she can, and it's just gorgeous and whimsical and so interesting. So I love trimming out her pieces and using them. She has a whole line of stamps too. The paper is awesome. She inspires me, and the way she draws inspires me. So I love using her pieces. Now I have my girl all set up right here, and she's gonna hang out over that mandala, and she's gonna be like clutching the eye, and we'll see how that ends up incorporated. I think it was so interesting that all of the proportions worked out for that eye to fit like right under her hand, with her hand like laying on top of it. I think it is super interesting. The pinks go really well. I can't wait to finish this. This one might be my favorite page now, which is so funny because it was definitely one of my least favorite pages if you watched the other videos as we got started. But now I love that girl with the eye right there. And then this is just going to be super simple. I'm going to leave those big bold letters on there, just equally spaced, and we're going to see what I decide to finish that with. We. A nice big bold we, and see what kind of statement comes out of that when I finish this art journaling adventure that I'm on, piecing these papers together. It's been interesting working in this format. It's been a nice change up for me. I've been art journaling for almost 2 years, almost 2 years. I started in the fall 2 years ago, and or 2 years ago, 1 year ago. Now I'm getting confused, you guys. I just don't know. You can see I'm placing that. Should I put that there? No, I decide not to. I'm going to hold off on that piece just because it seems like it covers up a lot of her hair, and I didn't want to do that. Anyway, this was a nice change for me. This lady shifted, and you can see she didn't stick, and so now I'm going to come back with adhesive and glue and see if I can make her stick. Working on the pages in this different way has been a nice, fresh approach, and I've loved it, and it's definitely making me stretch my creative brain, which is always a good thing. If you like this video, please leave a thumbs up and consider subscribing, as well as hitting that bell notification button. I have linked all of the supplies down below, so make sure you check those out. And there's also a link to join my newsletter, email newsletter list, and it goes out every couple of weeks, full of crafty talk and organization tips, so check that out as well. I hope that you have a fabulous day, and as always, keep it creative.